evening, everybody. I am excited to bring you this one. I've been planning this one for a couple of weeks now. And I've done all of the planning and all of the testing and all of the groundwork. I reached out to the lady that supplies the cut file and the digital design and everything from this evening. I have spoken to her. She's in America, so her name is Amber. She's very excited to be breaking into the Australian market. And I have actually procured a discount code for us for 10% off. So we will be using some of her stuff tonight as well. Now, as I said, she is an American. But I didn't think that it mattered too much because she does sell physical products, but because of the exuberant postage, I'm going to take a guess that the majority of us aren't interested in her physical products, but she has a really wide range of digital products which you can download and use yourself, and I thought that's why she might be beneficial to us. So her name is Amber. She is from HappyFoxSupplyCo. Now she does have an Etsy, but she also has a website. The discount code that she's given us is for the website. So we are going to do, she calls it a bottom wave. I'm going to call it a wavy split because in my mind that's exactly what it is. It's a split tumbler, but we're going to be using wavy lines, which I think is a really cool effect and I'm very excited. So because I wanted to promote her, I have gone ahead and printed one of her designs onto white waterslide paper. So I'll be showing you how to do it with white waterslide tonight and how to design and print and cut your own. But this is obviously can also work with printed vinyl as well. The design that I am using tonight is a one of Amber's digital papers, but if you're not confident in printing your own water slides, or you don't have a printer that does really good quality prints, I actually saw yesterday Corinne from Love Your Vinyl, one of her boxes, her monthly curated boxes that she's just released, has two prints that are very, very similar. They're not exactly the same, but they're along the same lines. I think in that box there's a blue and a pink print in her Celestial something. Let's have a look. I did see the post yesterday. Let's just have a quick look at what it's actually called. So if you can't be bothered printing your own, if you buy this box from Corinne, it has a print that's very, very similar. Celestial Star Vinyl Box is what it's called. And two of the prints are like New Age witchy designs. Sort of similar to what we're going to be doing this evening. But otherwise, let's get started. So, do you want to see the design? I'll show you the design first so that you know if you want to stick around or not. Okay? So don't pay any attention to my prep job because this cup has been through it the past couple of days. But we are starting with a navy blue base. I sanded and washed my tumbler and then spray painted it with white and then spray painted it with this deep blue. We are going to be using Phantom from the Shimmer Shack over it, and we're going to do it in the way that it's a tacket method. Okay, and then over our indigo blue tacket, this is the design that we're going to be using. Now, the file, which you'll see when I show you how to make and print your own, the file is actually supposed to be purple. So if anybody remembers from my last live, I've been having printer problems lately. My printer has just decided, well, it didn't just decide, I knew about it, but I ran out of, my printer works on a 6 ink system, so it has light magenta and light cyan as part of the inks as well, and the light magenta has run out, and I'm still waiting for my new ink to arrive. it didn't arrive in time for me to be able to do this live for you. So it's blue tonight because I can't get the pink in it to make it purple. Right, but this is what we're doing tonight. Okay, so you have your base part, and then you have 3 wavy lines, and you're supposed to leave a gap between each line as it wraps around, and it makes it seamless. See? Which is why we're doing the tacket underneath, so that this nice deep blue shows up under the light blue. So that's what we're doing. What do you reckon? I think it's a bit exciting. I've been busting to do this. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to show you how to make up your own water slide for this design. I'm going to be doing it in Silhouette Studio. Okay, so when you buy, like I said, she calls it the bottom wave. When you purchase the file, you get something that looks like this. It also has a black outline part to it that sits over the top as well. That is if you're putting it on a tumbler like this, and instead of leaving the gaps in between, you want to put an offset on it, kind of like the double rainbow burst that we did when you buy files from Brave Danger Designs. She supplies the offsets as well. Same deal. So I've already deleted the black lines because we don't need them this evening, but this is the file that you will get, and it will come in separate parts. Okay, the first thing you want to do is group your image so it's all one part. Okay, and then we're going to trace. Okay, so I'm going to put a box around it, up the threshold to 99 so that it's all covered in, and then we're going to trace it. Okay, this is going to give us 2 parts. Okay, because I'm printing water slide on A4 paper, I'm just going to change my paper size to A4, and we're going to move our cut file out of the way for now. Okay, so we're just going to focus on what we've just traced. From here, we want to go in and get our digital file. Okay, oh, it's going to do that stupid thing. Oh, that's okay. My computer does this stupid thing when it lags out, and it leaves a square of what I'm trying to drag and drop on the screen. Can you see that? And that's now going to stay there until I reset my computer, would you believe? So you guys have to stare at it for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go back to the camera. But this here, that's going to stay there until I reset my computer now. Okay, so we want to drag and drop our file into our program so that our I'll move it out of the way, so that our digital print then fills the shape. Okay, now I have already gone ahead and sized this at a width of 9.5 inches because that is the circumference of a 20-ounce skinny. Make sure when you are resizing your design that you have your ratio locked. So on Silhouette Studio, it's this diagonal scale button here, this little lock here. Make sure that that's locked so that when you change the width, the height follows and you don't end up with a distortion. From memory in Design Space, it's up the top somewhere here. It's got the width and the height, and in the middle of those two dimensions is a little lock button. So make sure that you lock your design. Then what we're going to do, because it's a little bit wide, is we're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. We're going to center it in the page so that we know it's exactly in the center, and then we're going to print it. Okay, if you were a little bit worried, you could turn your registration marks on and make it a print and cut, but I'm not going to bother because it's only got to cut the one section, right? Obviously print and cut's more for things like where you're doing multiple designs on the page. It tells the cutter where to cut, but because we're only doing the one design and it's centered smack bang in the middle, I'm not going to bother with registration marks. So now I would go ahead and I would print. So as you can see, it is clearly a lilac purple, like a lavender purple on the screen, right? But tonight we're using blue because, like I mentioned, I don't have the ink. Okay, so once that's printed, laser printers don't need spray sealing. Inkjet printers do. I have an XP970, which is an Epson that is an inkjet. So once I've printed, I'll go away and I'll spray seal it with Rust-Oleum 2 times in the clear. And then once that's dry, it's ready to put back through my machine and cut, right? And this is where this original file comes in that we traced. Okay, I'll move that down so you can see, because as you can see, when I get to my cut screen, it's got those cut lines on the different sections, right? And that's how we get our waves. So we're going to do exactly the same thing with this. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, and we're going to center it in the page. And I would then go through and cut this on my machine so that it cut the pieces that you saw at the beginning of the live. And then it's ready to go. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to do the tacket process first. So I'm going to show you my little sneaky trick to how I do my tackets. I don't think I've done tacket before, have I? I don't know. This may be one. If I have, it's a very rare occasion that like usually if I have a glitter base, I've already prepped the base, haven't I? It's already done with a resin of raya on it. A layer of resin on it. I told you. Me not do the talkies tonight. So my tacket, when tacket first came out, I was having a lot of trouble with it. I was using it like straight out of the bottle, and I was having some difficulty with it. My friend Jackie from, she's over in New York, she actually told me to do the 50-50 ratio. If you can see, I have it written on my label. It says tacket 50-50 mix. It's literally 1 part tacket to 1 part water. I've actually started backing up off the water a little bit, so honestly, it's probably more of a 2-to-1 mix these days, but originally I was starting out with a 50-50 mix. Mix it really well together into a container. This is my container. And then you do 1 coat, you dry it, you do another coat, you dry it, and I never had any issues with it since. So if you are new and you have found that tacket isn't as easy for you as everybody else makes it look, I've been there. I have every sympathy for you because I was there. For something that seems so simple, I could not for the life of me figure out how I was managing to fuck it up so badly. Just try diluting it just a little bit and doing a couple of coats, and you shouldn't have any problems at all. Okay, so I'm going to give this, I just hit you all in the head, I'm sorry. I'm going to put a really nice thick even coat all the way around. How has everybody else's week been so far? I am going to Sydney again this week because my son has a state championship for cheer, but with another, is company the right word? A different host. So a couple of weeks ago he had his first ever live cheer competition. God love him, he's been cheering for, this will be his 4th year of tumbling and his 3rd year of competitive cheerleading. And a couple of weeks ago was the first time he finally got to step out onto a live floor, because the year that he started All-Star Cheer was the year after his sister had started. So, I mean, I've been to live competitions before, but he hasn't, because he decided to join cheer the year that COVID broke out. So now comp season for him for cheer is definitely in full swing. He has ASCF state championships this weekend. And then in 2 weeks time, he has an Eisteddfod, but that's for his dance studio that he does acro with. They actually roped him into doing a theatrical piece with them for this Eisteddfod. So he is Hercules in a opens variety group, which is, from my understanding, jazz, contemporary, and lyrical. They've roped him into being Hercules. So he's got that in a couple of weeks' time. 2 weeks after that is another cheer competition, and then a week after that is another cheer competition, and then I think I'm done for the year. But, well, and then it's Christmas, and then 11 days after Christmas is the twins' birthday, and 3 days after that is my eldest birthday, and so pretty much from like now till February, I'm going to be broke. And then like February through to October, I've got money. That everything kind of all bunches together. Okay, first layer of tacket is on. I'm going to mute you. I promise I won't forget. I'm going to mute you just while I use my heat gun. Okay, so our first coat is dry, and if you notice now, we no longer have any white streaks or anything like that. It's dried clear, but I can assure you it is sticky. Okay, that is the point of tacket. I know that I use tacket a lot as like just a general adhesive in my lives. I know that I have something coming up as a pre-record that I use tacket in. But as for a live, I don't think I've ever used it as the tacket method in a live. So, first time for everything. This is how I do my tacket. So we're going to put another coat on, just to make sure that there's no missing spots. And we have a nice even coat. And I didn't forget to unmute you, so see, I'm learning, I'm growing. I still make mistakes all the time. But we're getting better. Mostly. Hi, Robin. Oh yeah, my heat gun, I pinched it off me dad. I didn't pinch it, I liberated it because it was never being used, so I gave it new life. Didn't steal it. He knows full well that I have it. I just refuse to give it back. This thing will melt paint off the wall. Like it's heavy duty. So, you know, obviously I don't have it up all the way. For tumblers and stuff, like when I'm doing ink swells and stuff, I bump it up to about a 2.5. For tonight, like drying this tacket, I have it sitting on a 2. Baubles, I have sitting on a 1, because I have learnt that this gun will melt baubles if given the chance. And, hi Suzanne, welcome! We are doing a wave split tumbler tonight. So I'm just putting, you haven't missed much actually, except me chatting and having a chat. You haven't missed much. So all I'm doing at the moment is putting a diluted mixture of tacket and water over my tumbler. This is now the second coat. And then from here, it's all systems go. So you haven't actually missed a lot. I'm just going to mute you again while I do my heat gun. Hi, Christy. Good luck, Logan. I am a busy lady, but you know what? I love it. I was saying this to Zoe the other day. I'm the kind of person that loves to deep dive into organizing everybody else and helping everybody else, and right, because then I don't have to face my own problems and my own to-do list. I am very good at showing up for everybody else, but I'm not very good at showing up for myself. Yeah, he's having a ball. He loves cheer, he loves dance, he does acro as well. He likes that because he likes showing off how flexible he is in regards to being a boy. But he's also miles behind all the girls because he's in an opens advanced group. He's also like he's not as flexy between the legs as girls are with his splits and stuff like that, because he's got a little bit more that he has to make flexible. But no, he loves it. He was getting teased a little bit at school for being a cheerleader and a dancer because, you know, kids are cruel. I'm sure you understand exactly what they might have been accusing him of and where his certain preferences may lie. But I think they've stopped now, more because I think they realise that they're all getting to an age now where they want to talk to girls, but girls scare the shit out of them. And then here's Logan, wherever he goes, he has no issues talking to girls at all because everything that he does, he's the only boy and he's surrounded by girls. So I think the other boys are starting to figure out that having him as an ally is probably going to be more beneficial in years to come because he's not scared of women. But no, he was getting bullied for a little while. But I mean, it hurt. Being bullied about anything obviously hurts anyone. But it didn't discourage him. So I have to thank the gods for that, because it really can go one of two ways sometimes, can't it? I didn't really want to put this down, but I'm going to because my container is empty. Now, we weren't sure if this was going to show up as like an indigo purple or as a blue on your screens, but this glitter is Phantom from the Shimmer Shack, and it is a very deep holographic blue, which is why I chose it. But we were like, remember when I can't even remember what I did it on, but I used that really, really deep purple, Royal Tang, I think it's called, and it kept coming up as like Smurf blue. Do you remember that? So we weren't sure how it was going to show up tonight, but this is Phantom. So once we have it all covered, like so, we're going to go ahead and take it all off again. Now, I am somebody, and again, there's a lot of things in the crafting world that come down to personal preference. Do you prep your cup or don't you prep your cup? Do you spray your alcohol inks or don't you spray your alcohol inks? Do you keep the glitter that you use in a tacket method or don't you? I am personally somebody that prefers not to reuse the glitter that gets burnished off. So all of the glitter that just fell there has gone back into the container because it's untarnished glitter. Everything that we're about to take off this cup, however, goes straight in the bin. So again, it's personal preference. If you're wondering why I'm not saving it, that's why, because it's not something that I do. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do my tackets, and hopefully it saves your life or your hands or blows your mind. Or so let's go. Once you have your glitter on, you get your alcohol and some paper towel. Okay, I'm going to spray, because I'm a very sensory person. Burnishing the glitter off a tacket cup was like nails down a chalkboard to me. I hated it. I hated the feeling. I didn't like, no. Right? So when I saw this trend going around, I was like, that's the one for me. Okay, so once it's sprayed with alcohol, you rub it with some paper towel. Alright, you don't have to rub hard. Comes off all by itself. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing again. With a new piece of paper towel. Just to get off any of those leftovers. If we do have lag issues tonight, it will probably be through this bit because of how I'm moving my hands. Might set off the frame rate. So if I do start lagging, just bear with me. it's just about done. Make sure I get my butt all nice looking pretty. Ta-da! Done. Okay guys, so I am jumping in and recording this not in a live. Because anybody that watched the live video would know the tumbler that what you just watched, that we did the tacket method and everything on. I actually did the whole method in its entirety in that live, but because I didn't have a layer of epoxy between the glitter that we just did the tacket with and the water slide was a little bit bumpy. It didn't look very nice, so I decided to go ahead. I have now put a coat of resin on the tumbler, and we're going to continue the same way as what we did in the live. Okay, so I've just added water to my little container here, and we are going in with exactly the same design. I just reprinted it and sprayed it as what we were doing in the live. Okay, so it will sit like this on the cup. Okay, let's see if we can move you over a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do my best to try and stay in frame. I don't have a lot of room when when using this big water slide tub, but we'll give it a crack, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to show you, if you've seen the live, you've seen me do this already. Like I said, we're just going to recreate what we did in the live video to finish up this cup. So we're going to start with the bottom piece, and I'm going to put that straight in my water, which is just slightly off camera, so that I have enough room to do everything. Okay, so I'm going to let that soak for a minute. I'm going to get the tumbler that we've just done the tacket method with. It's still got glitter all inside it. The tacket with Phantom from the Shimmer Shack. So here we go. I'm going to get my water slide paper, and I'm going to line it up on my cup. And wrap it around. Now, the trick to this this wave split is the positioning of the first piece that goes down, which is this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to lay that part flat. I'm going to lift up this end. And I'm going to have this end overlapping. We'll start in the middle and work our way up. Like so. And we want this edge here, right? Don't worry about this bottom piece. You're going to have one part that sits slightly lower than the other part. That's okay. That's what we want. Because we need these top bits to line up. That's the most important part, is having this part here, right? So as you'll see down the bottom now, we've got that overlap. Okay, if this was vinyl, we'd be able to fix that straight away because we just use our edge trimmer. Because this is water slide, I'm going to have to wait until this dries out before we can go along and use our edge trimmer along the bottom. But for some reason I haven't been able to figure it out. As I mentioned in the live, I've tried, like I was, what's the word I'm looking for? Not trying, trialing this design a couple of times before I actually went live with it, so that I was confident to teach you guys. And the best way that I found, whether it was water slide or vinyl, is that if you line up this seam here, right, you can fix this bottom part. But if this part here is off, the rest of your waves will be off as well. You have to make sure that this seam here is all lined up and looking pretty. And once you have that, the rest of the process will be really simple. Okay, so I'm going to get my silicone brush, dip it in some water, and just go around and squidgy out any excess water and make it sit nice and flat and make it look all pretty. Before we move on to the next part. Get any air bubbles out. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to get some paper towel and just dab with some paper towel just to dry it off, so that while I'm doing the rest of the cup, that's not going to move on me. Okay, so now okay, so it goes this, then this, then this. Okay. We're good. We're in order now. I didn't lose any of my strips this time, like when we did the mermaid cup. Okay, so next strip goes in the water. I'm actually going to pinch the arm out of another project, just to make it a bit easier to handle. Okay, so I'm just going to rub some water. It just helps the water slide to slide a little bit easier over the resin. And now we're going to do pretty much exactly the same as what we've just done. We want to start with this edge. Like so. And then once that first bit's lined up, I'm going to make sure that I keep the same amount of space. The whole way around. I just moved that. It's okay. This is why we use the Dr. Decal paper, guys. For the boo-boos. Okay. So, as I was saying, making sure I keep the same amount of space between my bottom piece and my next wave the whole way around. And as you can see, everything lines up beautifully. We just have, where is my weeding tool? one little corner that has decided to fold over. There we go, that's better. Like so. See? And now that next part has lined up as well, I have that same gap the whole way around. And now we're ready for our next one. So once you have that bottom piece, as long as you line up this bottom piece properly, the rest of it goes on really easy. It becomes a really, really simple process. It's just taking the time to make sure that that part goes on. Obviously, if you're using vinyl, please make sure that you're using a seamless vinyl so that you can get that pattern going the whole way around. Another tip is make sure that the vinyl that you're using is of high quality. So that, please ignore all the background noise there. My mum is in the kitchen. Make sure you use a vinyl that's high quality, like Love Your Vinyl, printed vinyl from Love Your Vinyl, because you will find if you do make a boo-boo, it's a little bit more forgiving, and you can lift it up and fix the placement on it. Some of the vinyls I was buying when I first started crafting didn't allow me to do that. And I found out it really comes down to the quality of your supplier. So if you're like me and you're not great, see what I just did? This is why vinyl can be a little bit better, because once it's down, it's down. All right, I'm going to have to fix that. Before I put the next part down. She came undone on me, guys. I leant on her. And she was like, oh, no. So we've just got to push her back into her spot. There we go. Okay. It's okay, we're not going to panic. This part needs to dip a bit more though. If we lift this up, and this part has to come that way, and then I have fat fingers. There we go, much better, see? And now we're starting to get our wave. I feel like this first one that we did keeps moving on me. There we go, that's much better. Okay, so last one. We're getting there. We're having some technical difficulties today, but we're getting there. But yeah, vinyl is probably easier, but I wanted to show you how to do it with waterslide. For no other reason, I'm not sure if I will edit this part of the live out, but I did mention the whole reason that I'm using waterslide for this project is because I wanted to use the HappyFoxSupplyCo digital print, which is this one that we're using now. This is one of her files as well. So both the design that we're using and the cut file to make the waves are both from Amber. Don't forget to use your discount code, and the link and the discount code to get everything from her website will be in the description. She has an Etsy as well, but please note if you do purchase off her Etsy store, you won't be able to use my discount code. Okay, you'll be paying full price, and who wants to pay full price? But yeah, I wanted to use her design, but I was out of printable vinyl at the time. That has also now arrived, but I wanted to use her design, so all I could do at the time was waterslide, which is why we're doing waterslide. And I love waterslide paper. I use waterslide paper all the time for a lot of things. But designs like this, if you're not super, I am super confident, and you can still see that I'm having a little bit of trouble because the camera's on. So if you're not super confident with waterslide paper, I would definitely recommend using printed vinyl. You can print it yourself. If there's if you want to use this design, or there's another design that you like, you can definitely print it yourself. Otherwise, go and check out Corinne from Love Your Vinyl. She has heaps of seamless patterns that you can use, and they all come on 12 by 12 inch sheets or 30 by 30 centimeter sheets. So you'll definitely be able to get more than one project out of them. I love using her vinyl as well. I don't actually buy printed vinyl off anybody else but her, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, because I know when I'm onto a good thing. That is just about done. Ta-da! Couple of wrinkles. We do have a couple of wrinkles. This first little strip that we've done is giving me the most grief today. Making sure that they're all still in place. And now I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'm just going to let it dry. So this is what, I'll move you up a bit. This is what we now have. Okay, so starting at the seam, you can see our infinity wave goes up and comes back down and goes up and comes back down, and that pattern is seamless the whole way around. Okay, so that is now the cup that we are left with. So I'm going to leave that to dry because it is waterslide. I'm going to leave it, what's the time? It is 12:53 p.m. on a Wednesday, guys. So I'm probably going to leave this until tonight, possibly even tomorrow morning, and then we'll come back. I'll figure out what I'm going to put on this part here. Okay, we'll put some vinyl on and we'll put some resin on, and then this project will be done. Okay, so this is the design that I chose. It is from the Wacky and Wild bundle on Design Bundles. So I will leave the link for that bundle if it's still available. If not, I will find this SVG on Design Bundles. But yeah, this is what we're going with. There is magic in us all, and I picked it because it's got the pussycat, and we also have the pussycat in the design. So that was a big draw card for me. I thought it was cute. We're doing it in light blue so that it matches the light blue on this. And as you can also see, I have used my edge trimmer to clean up that bottom edge as well. So now our infinity wave is perfect from top to bottom. Okay, so I'm going to add my vinyl. To the section where it dips down, right? So it dips down and then it dips up at the back. There is a little bit of space here, but to get the full effect, I'm going to put it here where it's a little bit not higher, because lower. I've got more space here. Okay, so we want to match it up with my little pussycat, pretty much sitting on top of the black pussycat, like so. Give it a bit of a squidge. I don't even know what it's called. This is is it a squidgy? Or does it have to have rubber on it to be a squidgy? Somebody let me know in the comments what this tool is for. Or not what it's for, what it's called, rather. I just call it a squidgy. Right? So obviously, if this is a squidgy, then the act of using it is called a squidge. Are you with me? Okay, let's peel off this transfer tape. There we go. So now that is on there like that, and we'll try, I'll hold it this way. That is our infinity wave tumbler. What do you reckon? Okay, so she has her first coat of resin, or her second coat rather, because we did do the hang method over the glitter, right? But that's all sealed in, our water slides all sealed in and everything. And upon the suggestion of our lovely Tanya, I'm going to add, or attempt to add, we'll see, some nail tape to our wavy lines. So let's start at the easiest part first. And wrap it around the bottom. And I am using the silver glitter nail tape. I was going to use the light blue one, like the metallic, but just before I started filming I put a little bit on just to see how it would look. This one here, please focus. But it didn't stand out against this blue very well. What am I looking for? I'm looking for scissors. So we're going with the trusty silver hollow glitter instead. Right, nail tape is only very, very thin. If you wanted it thicker, you could always make your own pinstripes with your Cricut or your Silhouette machine. I've done that before in tutorials as well, but this is more just to complement rather than be a main feature. I do tend to agree with Tanya. It'll just finish it off just that little bit more. So I'm lining the edge of the tape up. So in this instance, the top of the tape, but then on the next part it'll be the bottom of the tape. Does that make sense? But I'm lining up the edge of the tape with the edge of the water slide so that the tape sits across the line but on the water slide itself, just because we don't want that gap between each piece getting any thinner than it already is. We want to keep that effect. So I'm just going around and lining it up bit by bit. Because of the shape, we have to do it little by little. Like so. Now, see, it's not a huge difference, but it's enough of a difference just to give that lovely finishing touch. So thanks to Tanya for suggesting that, because honestly I probably wouldn't have thought of doing pinstripes on it because of the design that it is. So I'm going to go ahead now and finish the others, and then we'll be back. She's finished. Right, so the pinstriping, let's see if I can get it all in frame. The pinstriping goes the whole way around our spiral split, as well as around this bottom part here. Right, I've got my little sticker on the bottom, and she's all ready to go. What do you reckon? She's obviously, because we've just put the nail tape on, she's still going to need one final coat. Otherwise, that is it from me today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of it, what you liked about it, what you would do differently. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Also, if you have a request for a tutorial that you'd like to see me do, please also let me know. I love doing requests because then I know at least one person wants to see my content. But other than that, I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. You get some crafting done, and that you remember that the only limit is your imagination. Bye, guys.